People Party. Feel free to ask any question that you want to ask, but it should be to the point and concise.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Because I noticed only one lady.
Okay.
I hope the next time you have more ladies here. But I'm all yours. Thank you for coming for this conversation. I hope we can have this kind of conversation every week. Because when I'm president of this country, I will engage with press on a weekly basis to keep the public informed.
All right, so Council, thank you. Last week we were here. We wanted to highlight some issues, especially about, issues from some of the things you said during the press conference. You highlight a few things that armed forces has done, and what you also work in collaboration with the armed forces. You want to highlight it, then we begin from there.
Yes, the military was established in 1908 with the establishment of the Frontier Force. Later on became Liberian National Guard and AFL. But for more than 100 years, the Liberian people have been paying the salaries of the AFL. They have not fought any war or defended us against any war from across the border.
You said?
They have never fought any war or defended us against any war from staged by any country. We have had civil war. So, but I think that there's a war that the military needs to fight. We have one major enemy that is almost defeating this country. That enemy is called hunger. The role of the military is to protect us against insecurity. We do not have physical insecurity in terms of people coming from another country, but we have food insecurity. And then we have bad roads all over the country. That creates insecurity. For example, on the road to Vanjaman from Zosa the other time when I went around, when I patrolled Lofa County, I went to 28 towns, I saw an ambulance passing by us, blaring siren, but you could actually run and pass by the ambulance because the road was so bad. So I said, but this defeats the purpose of having an ambulance. The purpose of ambulance is to take a sick person to the hospital in a speedy manner so that the person can be treated quickly. But if an ambulance is slower than a human being, then there's no need for ambulance. So we have a challenge in this country in terms of food insecurity and mobility, our right to freedom of movement. So when I'm president of Liberia, I have two clear assignments for the military. I'll use the military to grow food, rice especially, to grow not less than 100 count from southeastern Liberia to Ganta. In fact, last year, passengers were paying 30,000 to 40,000 Liberian dollars to get a motorbike and come to Ganta from Suretru. I'm not talking about Grand Crew, Sino, River G, and Maryland. According to Senator Zopel, a gallon of gasoline last year in Suretru was 4,000 Liberian dollars. So you can see why the fare of motorbike would be that high. So, but it's happening that way because the roads are bad. I myself, my convoy from Brodiala to Tapeta took 4 hours, from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock on the road that normally in good time 20 to 25 minutes. So for the farmers in the 15 counties that will be given to the farmers on credit through the farmers cooperatives in the 15 counties that are already established under the authority of the Cooperative Development Agency. So when the farmers are producing rice with machines and the military is also producing rice with machines, definitely will defeat hunger. The price of rice will remain low. It will be lower than it is now, and rice will always be available. In fact, I see a situation whereby in 3 years of my administration, Liberia will turn the tide around, will become a rice exporter rather than a rice importer. Because my main mission is to change Liberia's story for the better.
Then let me ask. The last time you shout praises on the armed forces because of the war. Today you seem to be. So who do you think responsible for the government, the armed forces not doing those things that you want to be done under your administration? They say the government or the armed forces. What do you think would be the cause that those things are not happening?
Well, because government policy. Government has not assigned the tasks that I'm identifying now to the military sufficient. There have been times when the military has done some infrastructure work. For example, the sidewalk rise. We want to professionalize the military, as you saw in my armed forces message. We want to have electricians, to have IT specialists. All of the areas that we need for improvement in this country for socio-economic development should be areas that we should expose the military to. Because the thing about military is, in terms of emergency, they can do well because they go by command, and there are serious consequences for not carrying out order. It's different from civilians. So yes, I praise the military in their peacekeeping duties. They've done well, but I'm talking about defending us against insecurity. And the main insecurity we have in Liberia is food insecurity. And I say food insecurity, I'm not talking about cassava, edibles, planting, and others, because you eat any of those things. Like, you don't have plan. No, CDA works under the general authority of the Ministry of Agriculture. So Agriculture Ministry controls the agricultural sector. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention agriculture, but when I say CDA, the Cooperative Development Agency, the work agriculture. So I meant that they'll be working on the authority of the CDA, monitor and supervised by the Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay, so let me come in with a question. I mean, we've been following you over the past time on many of your press conferences, but there was this concern relating to your ambition. Similar ambition you had was the same ambition that the previous government
to do anything. When I talk about food production, that's economic, because if you have sufficient rice in this country, then we'll not be spending $200 million of foreign exchange for importation of rice. I would not take $11 million as the government did last year, budgeted last year, I don't know where they spend that money, to be given to rice importers to subsidize the price of rice. That is not a sustainable way of having rice sufficient in a country. The best way is to aid the farmers to produce rice, all right? So that's an economic situation to have food to eat. And when I talk about mechanized farming, mind you, my educational policy covers having free trade schools in the 15 counties for the young people of Liberia. Some of them will be mechanics and computer operators. Those are the ones that will be operating the caterpillars, the tractors, the combine harvesters, and also repairing them. So it will be creating jobs for young people, all right? But more than that, I have an economic plan that covers creating incentive for value addition companies, call them factories, to be located out of Monrovia. You pay almost zero tax or function or any faraway part of this country. But if you employ 500 persons, for example, those 500 persons will pay income tax to the government of Liberia. But there will be other multiplier effect, what we call an economic multiplier effect. So for example, the 500 persons will be renting apartments, rooms, and all that from real estate owners. They will generate income, and there will be income taxes to government. There will be other economic activities going on based on this one factory that will be put in Cape Palmas, for example, and the income generated from these activities will also benefit government. So my economic policy is to put money in the pockets of citizens that are located in the areas where the factories will be located, and also putting money in the pocket of government, because this policy will expand the tax base of the government as it increases employment. It will also have a social impact in terms of reversing rural-urban migration. Today, everybody comes from Fonjimo, from Cape Palmas, from Bobolu to look for a job in Monrovia. This is the considered wanting to come on this side and look for a job, greener pasture. But if we have jobs in Cape Palmas, Barclayville, Fonjimo, with all these companies, then it will slow down the massive rural-urban migration. It will also even perhaps reverse the migration trend. People will be leaving from Monrovia to go. Before you were born, there were Lipsuko in Cape Palmas. When Lipsuko was in Cape Palmas, Lipsuko was a sugar producing company.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Gongloe. My concern, I want to take it back to the military. You talk about sending the military, talking about the military is small in size. Now you're talking about taking them back to the farm, and the real essence of the military is to defend and protect the territorial borders of Liberia. Don't you think taking them back on the farm going to change the
peacekeeping duties? So I am saying I want to buy them new machines. The new machines I want to buy are the new jet bombers, will be tractors, yellow caterpillars, and combine harvesters to go and fight the only enemy we know now, not the unknown enemy of attacking us. The enemy we know now is hunger, and it is defeating us. So we have to reverse it.
Okay. I'm concerned investing in the agricultural sector is quite important. You have a long time plan, 3 years when you are elected, you want to exporting rice in the country. But are you going to take over a country that is challenged? Or all of the sectors, the educational sector, the health sector, and other sectors?
Scientists, and they are not in school. You know, God is a just God. He didn't only put brains in the hands of children from rich families. And they are not taking care, which is in violation of Article 6 of our Constitution. They are posing the obligation of the education of Liberian children and the elimination of poverty, of not poverty, elimination of illiteracy as a fundamental obligation of government. We're not doing that. We need to do that. I want Liberian children to go to school from kindergarten free of charge with the government. Liberia providing education, free trade school, and I can eliminate illiteracy in 2 years by giving stipend to junior high students, senior high students, college students to do after school teaching in their communities, and college graduates and high school graduates who are now working to teach full-time all over Liberia. And
this is what maybe yesterday President Ria spoke about. He said he has done all of those things, for example, the free tuition
and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All right? So there should be no constraint in government schools. In fact, I will have a conversation with old man Jim Dennis and then the 3-year-old man. You need to find him and have a conversation. He's the first president. He founded the President of Liberia, the first president. I had a conversation with him yesterday. He said, what you are saying is so right. He said he lived in America for 25 years, and in addition to school being extended, I never saw growing up in Tapeta any road, any car getting stuck between Zwetu and Tapeta. I'm not even talking about Tapeta to Uganda, because the roads were maintained by the government. But why? So when an old government, a previous government does something that is good, the new government should follow it. It makes sense. Respect for any woman, right? Because like either she's a prostitute or something. I have been petitioned by some Liberians who believe in what they're doing in this country. I established Liberia in 1847. That dream has not been realized. That's why I gave a speech in Atlanta in 2003 and said, Liberia, a nation struggling to live up to its a small group of people in government that are richer than the rest of Liberians, than the rest of all Liberians. For example, I went to FOIA and saw an estate when I was jogging the money. I said, but where is that? Is that a government place? Because Social Security has blue color. So I said, is that Social Security estate? He said, no. That T5 estate. I said, what is it called T5? He said, Honorable Thomas Fowler. 14 solid buildings, all air conditioned, without anybody living there. And they say it's only occupied when it comes on weekend. And then my reaction was, but this does not make sense. To come from the border of Lofa, Lubon County, you come on rough roads. All three of my cars got damaged coming to Fuya. Then I get to Lofa and see few streets paved with cement. This looks like a situation whereby you build a story building with electricity upstairs, air condition, television, everything there, but there's no stairs to move there. That type of development is the same thing with government so-called free education policy, where it is at the top. Everywhere in the world where education has been strengthened, it has been at the foundation.
Okay, so
You do not do. I'm not an independent candidate. I was chosen, elected at the convention of the Liberian People's Party. The party is a corporate organization that many people own. So when a United Party or any party that wants me to be on a ticket together with their candidate has to be in conversation with United Party. But LPP's position is that collaboration, cooperation, alliances must be based on issues, common ideas. For example, we have said we have a clear 12-point prescription for combating corruption that calls for the president's salary to be known to all Liberians, put on the internet. Not only president, ministers, chief justice and justices, speaker, and all members of the legislature, their salaries must be put on the internet along with the salaries of civil servants. So we Liberians can know the disparity between the civil servant salary, the least civil servant salary, and the least government official salary up there, so that we can make better judgment. But these things are kept in secret. We want something I'm introducing something called lifestyle audit every 3 months to audit the lifestyle, the expenditure of the president, the lifestyle of the ministers in government. And if a minister's expenditure exceeds his income, I will have that minister dismissed immediately, turned over to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission for full investigation, prosecution. And when you are found guilty, you go to jail for 5 to 10 years, and legally, all your properties through the process of law seized from you. Your salary, the remaining or the money you stole that is in the bank taken from you, your houses, your vehicles, everything taken from you. And this resonates with the people all over Liberia where they have been to 221 towns. When I say between 5 ministers are in jail and their family members are suffering, any other minister who want to steal, the answer usually is no, unanimously. And I ask a question, do you think anybody who wants to come to government to be managing director or minister just to steal who want government job? I said no. Then we free government of rogues, because government is a place to serve, not to steal. And there's an added advantage that people don't know. I may be wrong, but I strongly believe that when we eliminate corruption, we will be saving the Liberian people, because all the ritualistic killings, the highman business that makes it difficult for children to walk in places by themselves. When I was young, 1964, when I went to school, I used to leave school. After school, I would go on the farm to my mom, walking the road alone at the age of 7. Nobody can do any interior now. You tell the children, you come to school, stay down, because we don't want, especially during election time, we don't want highman. But when we make political position not attractive, not profitable as it is today, nobody will care anybody. The wage doctor will not make money, because when they say you bring him on being I will make you become managing director, you bring him on being our board, you become representative, you bring him on being labor, you become minister. If those things have no possibility of working because corruption are being eliminated, Liberians will be free, So those are the things So I've talked to you about one more thing I want to talk about. Liberia is among the 10 countries that report the highest rate of death among pregnant women. You are a woman here. So I said when I become, and then children too. So I said when I become president, all pregnant women will go to hospital free of charge. All hospitals and clinics. Children under 5. And also old people are helpless. Our country in America, where everybody got social security. In Liberia, only people who have history of working can get social security. So we have to help our vulnerable population. All Liberians from 65 years up, we have access to free medical treatment. Somebody asked me in one of the towns I went to, I've been to 221 times, they say, but government hospital and clinic that they can only prescribe. You go to JFK, they just prescribe and say, go to Lucky Pharmacy. I say, under Gongloe administration, that will change. Government hospital and clinic will be better than private hospital and clinic. This is how, everything I say how. This is how I will do it. As a president, I will get up in the morning and say, today I'm going to Hapo. I'm going to JJ Johnson Hospital for medical checkup. If I get it, I say, Mr. President, we ain't get it, we ain't get it, we ain't get that. Before going there, I ask the Minister of Finance and Economic Social, the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, say, have you disbursed money to JJ or something? Say, yeah, okay. I'll go there when they say these things are not there. I say, okay, you are fired and turned over for investigation. Because if this hospital is not good for the president, then it's not good for any citizen of Liberia. Next time I'll go to Bogasa Clinic in Lofa. The next time, or Bagedu in Lofa. Or I go to Campley Clinic and they tell me these things are not here. We can get a microscope to check your urine and all that. We can get pressure machine, somebody will be fired. And I strongly believe when 10 hospital and clinic administrators are fired and they are facing investigation, the other ones will advise themselves and say, nobody knows when the president is coming here because I don't intend to be going outside for any medical check. I intend to do it here. And the system will improve. So I talk about health, I talk about education, I talk about growth, and I talk about rest sufficiency because that's the only thing we consider food in Liberia. You here, if I give you a yam with fish gravy now, you eat it tomorrow food, 7 o'clock even when I ask you, have you eaten? He said, no. I ate some kind of yam in Tiawan Gongloe, but the whole day I'm not eating food yet. Because the only thing you consider food is rice. So we have to make it available, cheaper and affordable for all Liberians. These are the 4 major pillars that the rule of law, now nobody can doubt me as a lawyer, my ability to strengthen the rule of law because I work in the sector. Now, as a human rights lawyer, I know, but also as a prosecutor, I know how to put people in jail. The thing I'm talking about work with the police. Yeah, and I've been a law professor. So the area of law part, they won't forget it. Liberia will be a country of law under my administration because of my track record, my knowledge and experience. And both in enforcement of law and interpretation of law, Liberia will be on top. That is why we provide an atmosphere for tourism in Liberia, for example, that will create billions of dollars under my administration. From Cape Mount to Cape Palma is all sandy beaches. Beautiful, better than Bahamas, better than Banjul, that is making money. Liberia can make more money in tourism than most countries in the world. Lofa is a country of rolling hills, beautiful hills. For example, I saw a mountain, a big hill, a mountain in Zina Loma, and I thought I could touch it. I said, but I can chunk right to this. My in-law from the Cllr family, but my wife is from Zina Loma. And that's the other thing that will make me win in Lofa, right? My wife is Loma from big family, the Cllr family, and she's also Manif from Yanamanda home. On this trip to Lofa, I went to the 2 places, and they said, but our in-law will vote for him. Because they say, you see, men, they can do for their wife family most time more than their own family. So we'll vote for our in-law. So I had very good, I was pleased with my trip to Lofa. So I said, I can chunk rock. They say, hey, Councilor, this rock, this mountain you see is usually got from Zina Loma to that mountain is 3 hours. And to climb it is another hour. Those are the kind of places that tourists want to come to, spend time. This country is beautiful. Right behind Palawan there's a mountain called Cllr Mountain. Now people are used to it. That could be for tourism. There are people go to to the Ganges River. Now we have a prayer mountain between Zebe and Palala. The last time I went, I saw 3 cars parked there, and people had their tents up the hill praying. And they said they've been there for over a week. Belief system can bring money too. People will be traveling from all over the world. If we have good security, go to the prayer mountain in Bonkane. And Bonkane will make money because there will be economic activity as supposed to build lodges and hotels around the prayer mountain. But I've seen in Western Cape, the hills in South Africa, the Table Mountains. We got more tables in Lofa than even in South Africa. All we need is good road, good governance, with clear security, and Lofa will be a source of big tourism money, because it is so unique. There's nowhere in this country in Lofa when it comes to the beautiful hills of Lofa. So I really have a mission to change Liberia's story. The only thing, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not a job. Y'all know me, I resigned from ministerial job. People don't do that easily. When I resigned from ministerial job, I didn't even have 1,000 in my account. But I cannot compromise my conscience and my country's interest. No way. That's why I want to do. Thank you for this conversation, and I invite you to come every week to talk to me, because power belongs to the people, and for you to get it from them, you have to convince them to give it to you. That's why I'm doing politics a different way. Never in the history of Liberia have people seeking power going to the people. I've been told on the tree, I'm the first politician to sleep in Owens Grove right after leaving Margibi. I was the first to sleep in Little Bassa, first to sleep in Bakedu in Lofa County, first to sleep in over 98% of the places I went to. I felt good about it.